Hi, I'm Ben Stange, Fire Chief of Polk County Fire District Number 1. We protect the towns of Monmouth and Independence and the communities of Buena Vista, Airlie, and PD. Uh, Today is Friday, September 11th. It's almost noon right now. And if you're like me, you opened up your door this morning and we're pleased to feel some crisp and somewhat moist air. That's the weather pattern that we had been hoping for. Today, I want to take a brief moment to talk about the status of our fire district, talk about a little bit about the smoke in our community, and then I'm just going to take a minute. We've received a lot of questions about us sending our firefighters to other parts of the state. So I'll explain a little bit of terminology and how that process works in case people are curious. You might be hearing about some of that on the news, so maybe clarify some of that. Currently, just as before, we have no active fires in Polk County. We have no evacuation orders in Polk County. You'll recall there was a fire several days ago up at the Mill Creek Park near Buell. That fire is extinguished. In the night, there are a couple sort of stumps smoldering. ODF is sending some people up during the day to clean up a couple of those hot spots, but that fire is out. So we are no active fires, no investigation. So that's the first and foremost thing that you should know about our county right now. Yesterday, I mentioned that we have crews on the Holiday Fire in Lane County, the Slater Fire in Josephine County, and the Echo Mountain Complex out in Lincoln County. So we still have our crews in Lane and Josephine counties. They are continuing to do hard work on their strike teams. Yesterday, about noon, we did get our engine that we had sent to Lincoln City on mutual aid for about a day. They returned and had done some phenomenal work. So several resources were cut loose on that fire yesterday. So they returned, and we have since made an additional unit available to the state for deployment elsewhere if needed, since they were released and Lincoln County did not need additional resources. As far as the air in our community, it's rated as hazardous. Which basically is nobody should be outside doing physical activity. One thing that's come up is there is some belief that our masks we've been wearing will protect against the smoke. That is not true. These do not protect against wildfire smoke, so do not put one on and expect that you can now go outside and do physical activity. This is particularly hazardous to people with heart and lung conditions. That could be you, that could be a child with an undiagnosed heart or lung issue. So continue to be cautious about going outside. Stay inside when you can. So again, I want to mention the three most important things. The first thing, continue to be safe. Our conditions are improving throughout the state, as you can tell. However, we are still short. Every agency is still short around us. We have received no resources back. We're still short on resources, although the 7-day outlook has improved slightly today from where it looked about 12 hours ago. We expect that to get a little bit worse tomorrow and then come back down to about our level today before we really start to see improving conditions on Monday. So please, especially through this weekend, continue to be safe, just diligent in your fire safety. Second thing, again, official sources. Please get your information from official sources. One issue, we've been saying that since the beginning, one issue that has come not just obviously to our fire agencies, but to law enforcement throughout. We are getting all sorts of rumors, whether that be arsonists, evacuation orders, fires going on. Every one of those takes our time. It is extremely distracting and just taxing on the whole system. So please just get your information from credible sources and save us all the distraction from dealing with those questions and those concerns. And last, as I said, find a way to help. We're in a unique position in Polk County to be the ones who are providing help, not asking for it. So let's continue to be safe and find ways with hundreds of thousands of Oregonians displaced. There are plenty of ways to help. So I'd encourage you every day, find a moment. As I said yesterday, look for the helpers, find someone that you can help, something you can do also, and contribute to that. It does feel great when we're able to do that. So that's it for an update. Be safe. get your news from official sources, and find a way to help if you can. And with that, I just want to talk real briefly, again, since we've had some questions about how our fire district is involved in fires throughout the state. I was just going to take a minute and explain that process for people might not understand the way that goes. I won't get really into the weeds, but basically, if you've heard the word conflagration, a conflagration is basically we mobilize, we move out forces to an area where a fire has gone beyond what the local agencies can provide. So typically, you heard there's a statewide conflagration, and you heard the governor refer to the first time she's at a statewide conflagration. And normally what happens is we have a fire like the Beachy Creek fire, and there's a conflagration for that fire, and it's specific to that fire. And then they can get state resources, they can get the Oregon State Fire Marshal Office, all those sort of state resources out there. The Area Operations Center will coordinate the response of agencies throughout the state. And what she was meaning when she said a statewide one is that the governor is not right now pointing at one fire and saying this fire is a conflagration, this is where the state can send resources. She's basically opened it up and said to the state fire marshal's office, put people where you need to put them, deploy them where you need to deploy them, offer the services you need to provide to the people who need them. The system's overwhelmed so much right now that there simply isn't the capabilities to provide all the services that are needed to all the fires going on in the state. So that's what a conflagration is. The way that gets down to our level is basically every single county has a county fire defense board chief. So the state isn't going to and shouldn't call every single individual fire district or department in the state of Oregon. What they do is they call the county fire defense board chief from each county. There are two places where there are a couple of counties that work together, but basically every single county in Oregon has its own county fire defense board chief. It rotates between the chiefs. Typically this year for Polk County it's myself, and what that chief is tasked with is when there's a call from that area operations center I referred to for a conflagration, they call that county fire defense board chief, and then that county fire defense board chief is in charge of getting a hold of all the agencies within that county and finding out what resources they can provide. So what they're looking for is what we call a strike team. And a strike team is made up of 5 vehicles. So there are different types of engines. Some are structural engines, kind of the city ones, like what we sent out to Lincoln City, which is designed usually to hook up to a hydrant. They're going to be in neighborhoods and doing really large structural protection operations. And then there are other units that are more designed for fields and somewhat more rural settings. And so what the County Fire Defense Board chiefs is reaches out, finds those vehicles from the different agencies and the personnel from the different agencies, and puts them all together with the right certified people who can be officers or leaders of the crews, along with firefighters who are certified to operate in the wildland space, puts it all together and calls the AOC back, the Area Operations Center back, and says, I have a strike team for you, and then they get deployed to where they need to go. This one was a little bit different because with so many fires going on, our first strike team that we put together, we had a request Monday night about 11 p.m., Tuesday morning about 1 a.m. We had that request filled. The initial order was to go at 8 a.m. up to the Beachy Creek. And then at about 3 a.m. that changed to go down to the Holiday Farm fire, and it wasn't an 8 a.m. departure, it was now an immediate departure. Same thing when we sent our crew our firefighter to lead a strike team in Josephine County. Initially when he responded, he had been instructed to be going to Clackamas County because of how quick and dynamic those 72 hours were. By the time they were getting out the door, that had been changed to Josephine County. Again, to talk just briefly about the strain on the system here in Oregon, every jurisdiction I think is doing an incredible job along with the State Fire Marshal's Office. Everybody's working extremely close together. As I said, typically a County Fire Defense Board chief will get a strike team mostly from their county. Sometimes we work a little bit with Lincoln County also, and we'll combine, or Yamhill, and we might combine to make a strike team. The last one we sent out to Josephine County actually had apparatus coming from Umatilla County. to go down with them. So it was sort of an apparatus from anywhere that is left in the state along with qualified personnel. So that's the way we get deployed throughout the state. They can be out for up to 14 working days, and then they need to be transitioned out. So we will be likely up against that at some point for some of these crews. And that's sort of a quick snapshot in case anybody was interested in the way that process works. Again, just to remind everybody, we still have significant potential over the weekend, so please continue to be safe, continue to listen to reliable news sources, and continue to go help where you can. So I thank you.